On today's budget by the Chancellor of the Exchequer, the Right Honourable Kenneth Clarke MP.
Good evening. Welcome to Downing Street. What do people want out of a budget? Never mind the PSBR, GDP growth, the money supply and the fiscal judgment, though they all matter really. The main point is to be able to earn a decent living, take care of your family, be cared for if you're sick, and be looked after if you hit hard times. They're the things that matter to those of you at home tonight. You don't want me to play politics or get reckless with our security and prosperity. My budget today is designed to deliver more jobs and make you better off. And it delivers to all of us a healthy economic future built to last, a Rolls-Royce recovery. I promised that last year and in the years before that. Recovery, prosperity, no return to boom and bust. Well, you can judge chancellors by results. How am I doing? We're now well into our 5th year of growth, the strongest, longest recovery of any major European economy. That's set to continue. Unemployment has fallen by nearly 1 million over the last 5 years. It'll soon go below 2 million. And as the economy grows, that number will shrink further, and I want to see it go down. As unemployment in the rest of Europe's gone up, ours has come down. The British approach, making it worthwhile for businesses to take on new people, not pricing people out of jobs, is paying dividends. There are 800,000 more jobs in Britain than there were at the bottom of the recession. With last year's tax cuts, rising wages and low inflation, a family on average earnings is now £8 a week better off since I gave my budget this time last year. I have delivered on my promises, and I've got to make sure that this will last. We all remember that inflation and balance of payments crises used to destroy every British recovery. Too much of the accelerator, we had to slam on the brakes. The old story of boom and bust. Never again. We don't have any balance of payments problem this time. Britain is now competing with the rest of the world and winning. Our recent export performance is better than any of our major competitors worldwide. Better even than Japan and the United States. And that's given us our healthiest balance of payments for 10 years. Britain's the place to do business. Businessmen the world over come here to make Britain their base in the European marketplace and help us create jobs. And inflation's under control this time. We've already had the longest run of low inflation for nearly 50 years, since the days of ration books after the war. I'm on course to deliver price rises of only 2.5% next year, and for years thereafter. That's good news for businesses who want to invest. Good news for home buyers who don't have to cope with seesaw interest rates. Typical mortgage payments have halved since 1990. And it's good news for pensioners and savers who don't have to sit and watch inflation cruelly eat chunks of their savings as they used to do. I'm taking no risks with these good economic prospects. I'm looking to the future and our children's future with this budget. I want Britain to go on from strength to strength. That means continuing my responsible approach to the public finances. We've cut public borrowing by half over the last 3 years. Today's measures keep us on the path towards a balanced budget. Now, that's actually important to you and your family, not just to me as Chancellor. I want to spend money on your public services and not on paying interest on public debt. That's why I've kept a firm grip on public spending. I've made cuts in the costs of running Whitehall, and I've made cuts in low priority areas. And by sensible choices, we can still spend more on our big 3 priorities. More for schools, an extra £830 million if your local authority passes on its share. There's more money for hospitals, an extra £1.6 billion for patient services, and more to continue the battle against crime, £450 million, and that means we're up to 2,000 of the extra constables the Prime Minister promised. And we're putting even more effort into cracking down on benefit fraud, closing tax loopholes, and stopping tax cheats. That's the way to protect ordinary, honest taxpayers. I'm raising the taxes on tobacco and petrol again. Sorry, but on today's crowded roads, that makes good sense. And those of us who smoke, well, we choose to do so. And we should be made to think about the health risk. I'm also introducing a package of green measures to encourage less pollution from lorries and diesel engines. That should help improve air quality, especially in our cities. But for the second year running, there'll be no rise in the tax on beer. And for the second year running, I'm cutting the duty on a bottle of spirits. The Scotch whisky industry is actually important for the economy, as well as important to whisky drinkers. Only smugglers will be disappointed. It's a virtuous budget that scores a virtuous treble. I've controlled public spending, I've cut public borrowing, and there are tax cuts that I can sensibly afford. Tax cuts which will last. I want an economy where wages go up steadily and people are allowed to keep more of what they've earned by their hard work. This year, I can reduce the burden of income tax on every taxpayer, and I pitched it at the low-paid and people on ordinary earnings. So I'm raising the amount which people could earn before they have to pay any tax at all. I'm making 20 pence the top rate for more people. Do you know, at the moment, 7 million of you only pay tax at 20 pence in the pound. I believe, and I promised, that 20 pence should be the basic rate for everyone, and we're getting nearer every year. The last Labour government left the basic rate at 33 pence in the pound. This government's aim has been to reduce this rate for ordinary taxpayers. Since 1979, we brought it down step by step by step. Last year, I reduced the basic rate again from 25 pence to 24 pence. This year, another penny off to 23 pence. That's 10 pence down since 1979. And actually, that's the lowest basic rate of income tax for nearly 60 years, before the war, and actually before even I was born. After taking account of wages, prices and taxes, a family on average earnings will be more than £20 a week better off since the last election. And the total increase since we first came to power in 1979, £100 a week for that average family to spend. 5 years of Labour government only gave the same family an extra £1 a week in total. We have delivered. We are delivering. The economy is getting stronger. More and more people can share the benefits. So my job today was to look ahead, to ensure the economy keeps on growing, to ensure that we're going to enjoy yet more prosperity and even more economic success. I promise only what I believe I can sensibly deliver. I have always delivered what I promised in past budgets. You get better off in a well-run economy. I intend to go on running it well for years to come. Good night.
That was a statement on today's budget by the Chancellor of the Exchequer, the Right Honourable Kenneth Clarke MP.